Hey y'all, you already know who this is. Your girl Whitney for Whitney Escapes, and we're here again, starting 2025 right with author Mel Dau. And I hope I said her name right, guys. Y'all know I'm horrible. And the book is Mega Man. And if y'all didn't read this, I'm very disappointed because this book is everything. But with no further ado, please welcome author Mel Dau.
Hey, hey.
Did I say your name right?
It's Da.
Duh, I said it's either do or die. And I'm
It's
like,
Da.
I'm gonna go with what I think it is,
So
but
I always think daughter. So think daughter.
daughter, die, Mel, die.
Melvin's daughter.
I always mess up on names, but y'all know that does not come from the heart.
It's fine. Look, when I came up with it, I was like, is it Da? Da. Okay.
So, Mel, please tell our audience about you, like, how you started, little background information so they can be familiar before we jump into this book.
Okay. So I've been writing for how long have I been writing? I've been writing since 2018. Got into writing honestly. It fell in my lap. I never had any ambition to be a writer. If I'm being frank, I didn't know what my purpose was at all. I was just kind of going through life. Well, I will say this. I was going through life being excellent because I believe my daddy always told me be excellent in everything because you never know what your purpose is. So I just happened to bookies on Facebook. So Tasha, she had a writing contest. And she was like, hey, I want you to do a story because we were cool or whatever. So I was like, all right, bet. So I did like the first 2 chapters of Charleston Love Story. And she reached out, she said, hey, I'm not putting this in the contest. And at first I was like, oh, you could just say I don't know how to write. Like, that's kind of rude. Like, whatever. But she was like, no, I'm actually sourcing because I want to start a publication company. And I want you to be one of our authors. And at first, I told her no. I told her no initially because at the time, my father had died. And I was in a really bad depression. So when she asked me, it was like a Tuesday, I had a suicide plan to be dead by the next Monday. So I didn't have time. I was like, whatever, girl. So she had another author, Sage Jade, reach out to me to be like, hey, just write 5 chapters. And if you don't want to do it after that, we'll never talk to you again. So I ended up writing the 5 chapters in like 4 or 5 hours. And I realized like, oh my God, like I can really escape. I can escape to this place and bring the wisdom that my dad has given me through these fictional characters. So I signed a contract like the last 2 days of March. And my first book was released like April 12th. In the first year, I wrote 15 books trying to just stay alive, quite frankly. Like I was just writing, like if I'm writing, I'm not thinking about dying. If I'm writing, so I was pushing them. And then eventually I got myself together to start taking my meds, doing all this other stuff. And then from there, it's just been up. I signed to Be Love and 2020. I signed to Be Love and I've been with Be Love Publications, Be Love Presents ever since.
Girl, first of all, I want to say my condolences to your father and your loss for your family because I can't even imagine. Thank God. I tell everybody, like when they saw the post, thank God you have your parents. I said, shoot, we have to be thankful. I literally just had a good conversation with my mom yesterday about that. I said, sometimes you drive me crazy. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So like that reality and what girl.
Thank you.
You're right.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be appreciative because I wish I could have one more because my mother passed too. I wish I could have one more call mama, and she said something like, Mom, I'm gonna call you back, you get on my nerves. I wish I could have one more of those, know? So it's like, yeah.
It's funny because my mom, she lives with me. So it's like a different dynamic.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
I'm like, it's like it's not like I live with her, she lives in mine. So she always, well, this is your house. She likes to say that drives me crazy. I'm like, but you live here. But we had a really good conversation yesterday. She goes, I understand. I really understand what you're coming from. So like even when she gets on the kids, and then she's like, you're a kid. I said, you started it. Don't be starting stuff.
Right.
But understanding the balance and appreciation. But I could tell you, I love your writing. I just got introduced to you. I think it hadn't been like, I know it was the fall, either like November or December, and I was going through your stuff. I said, I have to reach out to this lady because how all your series are so different, but together. Miss Thing, I'm alive. Get out of here. That's my daughter, y'all. She's always trying to sneak her way over here. She is like she's acting like she read the book. She read the book. Like, get them out of here. You don't got no commentary. And I was hooked. Like your first series, Hook, and then even when you did the Wolf and the Cantors and all that, like
Yeah.
you're imagining, like I was like this. There even now with the spiritual, I'm like she jumps from different things, but they
Mm-hmm.
all connect, which
Yeah.
is just like phenomenal. I am like addicted. I tell everybody she read your work. I'm like she does different things. It's so
Mm-hmm.
freaking cool. And I'm just excited to be talking to you because you are one of my scapegoats. Everybody knows that. They're like,
Thank
oh,
you.
we need to escape. Yes, it's my travel business. But I can't be traveling every day. I got a husband. I got to do all types of stuff. So when I
Right.
need something to just, I can like, no, dog, and read and be like, woosah. For real, because I understand like life could be a lot. And your
Yeah.
books are, gives me peace through the
Yeah.
chaos.
And that's why I
So,
try to always put some kind of, no matter how uncouth or unhinged, I always try to put that little bit of encouragement in all of my books. To like, okay, it's okay to not be okay, but you gotta pick it up. We gotta figure it out. So yeah,
yeah.
a lot of that, and with my brand, my pen game being bipolar, that allows me the freedom to move in and out of genres like I do, because that's not possible for a lot of authors. Like they
Mm-hmm.
they are stuck to that one genre because that's what their readers expect. But I love my Mania crew because they expect the unexpected. Like, okay, this girl could write an unhinged man today and write a centaur tomorrow. We don't know. So
That's true. You're right. All your shit, not one of them have been the same. Like they're always unexpected. I'm like, yo, where is she going with this? But you always kill it. It's
right.
always the only thing that's consistent, and like you said,
Mm-hmm.
is the love is
Mm-hmm.
very consistent. And like you said, you always have some type of like encouragement or somebody going through something, and they
Mm-hmm.
always overcome that, which is important because
Mm-hmm.
you, me, now I bet every woman over here go through a stages in our lives
Right.
where we feel like we're not enough, that we can't go through this, or how we gonna get this done. And in all your stories, you always have something that you're like, you know what? Even in this one with Rue, but we'll get to that shortly. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Her finding herself, like, finding
Right.
her voice, like that's important, in different stages in your life.
Right.
So that's amazing. But I do want to ask, why did you recommend Mega Man? Why did you recommend that book for us to read?
I think because at the time it was the book that everybody was kind of levitating to. So I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, so when I wrote Mega Man, I had no idea that book was going to be like that. Like as far as big, like blow up like it did, I was just writing a book. Like, okay, here's another book. Here's Mega Man. We gonna move it. And then I think right before it was supposed to come out, my publisher did a TikTok, and she basically was like, "This is the most unhinged man that she has ever written." I like y'all. And I was like, and in my head, I'm like, well, maybe I'm crazy because I don't think he unhinged. I think that's normal. And then I was like, maybe I'm a little, maybe I missed some parts of the, whatever. But I just like Mega Man's a good time. Like I've met people, I've had people inbox, I don't know why they felt led to, but inbox me to tell me they didn't like it. I'm like, okay, well, that's what's up. I don't like this inbox,
I
but
don't see how they don't like it.
I mean, but people have their opinions. I'm like, I don't like a lot of books, but I don't go in the author's inbox and be like, I don't like it. Like I was like, this is a weird thing to me.
That
But
is
okay,
weird. You can
like,
have. I tell everybody every book is not 5 out of 5,
mm-hmm.
but I haven't read a book that I didn't like. I read books I feel like author missed, like miss stuff. Like
Yeah,
you could have really hit the nail. Like
right,
if I feel like it's too short or they dragged it out. Like
right,
you miss. Like I feel like sometimes authors miss opportunities. Like their whole
yeah,
thought process be good, but they don't like knock it out the park. Like yo, you
yeah.
missed that. Like
But I
that.
think there's a difference too between something that's not for you and something that was just a bad book. Like those are two different things. So if something's not for me, I'm not gonna be like, I ain't like it. That wasn't a book for me. It wasn't badly written, but
Exactly.
like I'm not a dark romance girly. So if I read dark romance and don't like it, I'm not surprised because I knew I wasn't that coming in. Now, have I read one and been like pleasantly like, oh wow, I have. But there are some dark romance books I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do that. So.
Exactly. Like me with eroticas. I do not like eroticas. I tell people.
Look, I don't like writing intimate scenes. I hate writing intimate scenes.
I was
And
going.
I've written a couple eroticas.
I'm glad you mentioned that I'm so happy because I want to ask you this question, but you kind of already answered it. But I'm gonna give you your props for that. One thing I do like about your writing is that you're even though they have intimate scenes, it's not like 5 pages long.
I'm
I
trying to tell you.
I love that you do that, and I want to put my mom.
I be struggling for the little bit of pages I do. Like I have written an erotica, and when I tell y'all it takes me the longest to write eroticas because I don't want to write this. Like, why can't we just say they did it? The curtains moved, spirits were led, and we move on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
people, I've had people inbox me. You didn't do a lot of sex in this book. Did it take away from the book? Like.
I don't. I tell everybody I like the story.
Right.
Even here, you did it so tastefully. I'm like, because some people like, even like my mom and stuff, single, so like she's living her best life. But even me as a married woman, my sisters, we don't. Like, I'm like, I don't want to read no. I don't feel like I'm reading porn. I
Right.
read love story because I want the love story. It's like watching
Right.
Hallmark. Like I know they're going to be intimate. That's of course that's going to happen. But I don't need five pages every other chapter or just of them be intimate. Like I want to know what the problem is, how they get over it. Cause
Right.
as a grown woman, you know what I'm saying? Like even through your stories, I could be like, you know what, you be doing that sometimes. Let me see how they figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna give you props for that. Cause I was like, yo, I love that all the stuff that I read with you, you give story, and
Mm-hmm.
I love that
Thank
about
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same.
cause you know we're not little kids. And one of my girlfriends, she wanted
Right.
to tell you that she really loved your book, but she just texted me, she says, I'm in the bed, definitely sick. But tell her that I love this story.
So look, it's real out here. Look, I told my husband, I said, look, I'm trying not to get sick. Like I'm trying not to get sick, and
Mm-hmm.
I ain't doing a good job at it because it's like for me, my immune system sucks. So I've had COVID 5 times. And my doctor was kind of like, yeah, baby, you always gonna have a little touch. So I'm gonna need you to, like, when it's flu season, I need you to mask up, keep it. I can walk outside, go to the grocery store, come home and be sick that night.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, it's cold, this weather. And then I don't like wearing coats because I feel restrained. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't dress properly. So I'm just like, look, I'm gonna just stay in the house.
Mm-mm.
Everything delivers.
Facts. But girl, I'm gonna tell you right now, Mega Man. I love me Megatron. I I my mom says she hates the name, but that's her business because she look at her commenting while we talking about my thing.
Look, so
I
let
love
me tell
Mega
you,
Man.
but like, and then somebody they asked me, where you get that name from? I literally was just watching Transformers, and I was like,
She
oh,
got
okay,
it from
Megatron.
Transformers, and I knew it because her dad was trans. I'm like, I get how
Yeah,
she's playing. She could be a fan.
yeah, I got it
Ma'am,
from Transformers.
ma'am,
I'm a big
I'm
Transformers
like,
fan. Like a lot of times, I'll get a name in the craziest way, but when you read the book, I'll put so much depth in the name. Like, oh, that's deep. No, I was watching Transformers, and I looked over. It was like, oh, Megatron.
girl, I don't care what his name was. I love him. I, ma'am, I'm live. We don't need a. That's how you know she don't read my book. She's like, I ain't read all these sex scenes and stuff like that. But she read this one, and as you can see, y'all, she's loving it because she's commenting next to me, like not like I'm lying.
Right, yeah.
So that's a prop to you because she won't read books, but me and my sister like you have to read this book, and she's
I'm
like,
happy she likes it. Yeah,
she's
but
and she
Megatron
knows.
and a part of it. So the Mega Man actually came from Lil Wayne, like the song. So I don't know if you know. I don't know if anybody picked up on it, but like Mega Man, that's a song. Lil Wayne Can't Be Broken. That's a Lil Wayne song. Opposite of
Mm-hmm.
Soft is a verse in a Lil Wayne song. Pressure Cooker, a verse in a Lil Wayne song.
Look
So
at
like I
you.
was going through this whole Lil Wayne. I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan. So literally one day I was like, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna write books, and I'm gonna name them something that's inspired by Lil Wayne. So that's literally like where all these titles lately have been coming from. Like So Special, the Naughty Fan, that came from a Lil Wayne song. She's my number one fan, FAN. That came from Lil Wayne. So Special, that's a Lil Wayne song. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm a little bit of a fan.
Okay, I ain't mad at you, but I love him. I love this book. It had everything in it. It was I
Mhm.
was dying laughing. It was so funny. I love the church aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I love her innocence. I love his ruggedness. I love like the French, the shade. It was just had everything in this
Mm-hmm.
book. It was a great entertainment, and
Mm-hmm.
like the reason you know this book was good, guys, because listen, the Holy Spirit told me Friday. He was like, look at the calendar. I was like, what? In my spirit. So I was like, let me look at the calendar. I said, I got my book review on my because everybody knows I wait the week up to read the book because I read so many books.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to have my authentic version. Like this
Reaction.
is how
Mm-hmm.
I feel, you know. And if I read this like at the beginning of the month, I'd probably read 10 books since then. So I have to like
Right.
remember how I felt about it, even though
Mm-hmm.
I could bring it up, but I just like to feel how I
It's
feel.
your,
And that's why
yeah.
like yesterday, people like, you need to do your review right now. You hype. I'm like, yeah, but I haven't finished the book. But literally, I finished the book, had my day, and I did stuff with my kids. Like I didn't believe how fast I read this freaking book. But I was just so entertained. And I know my husband probably like, who the heck is this guy she talking about around here? My daughter thought I was crazy. Mom, what's going on? I said, you don't know, girl. You don't know. But Megan, I needed some of him. Girl, I said, who don't love a thug who loved Jesus?
Look now. Yeah, look. That means he is on his way to greatness. God gonna change him in his own time now.
Girl, he quoting scripture. And
Look.
I can't, girl. I said, God, please forgive me. My husband looked at me side eye. I was like, oh my God. I loved him. I love this book. So let's jump into it because as y'all know, I got somebody, y'all know I say I'll be ready. I'll be ready. I'll be having all my stuff. I'll be ready. That amen.
Look.
Oh my God. His personality.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Even his vulnerability. Don't act like real men have feelings. I love his cockiness. I love his assurance. I love his person. He had a like this his personality.
Mm-hmm.
I love. You have a couple of characters that I love personality too, but I loved him. I really did. But let's get into it. Let's talk about Mega. How do you come up with like this background with him of him being like an assassin? Did you do that to connect them or?
And God, I be like every time I talk, people think like my characters literally talk to me. So like it'd be on some like she looks crazy. Like if y'all were to if I was to post a clip of my camera from my inside of my house, y'all would be like, oh, like I literally be in here like Mega, chill. Like no, because like when I started writing him, and I was like, well, what you do for a living? Like I'd be talking, like, what you do for a living? And then he was like, oh, I work for Christian Enterprises. I was like, no, you don't. I don't want to go back there. Because in my head, I'm like, I said I was gonna leave them alone. You pulling them back up? Like this is not what I want to do, but that's just how it played out. And so I just they talk to me, they give me a glimpse of like what they do, what they're gonna do. I might get a overarching idea of the book, and a lot of times I dream my storylines, so I'll go to sleep and wake up and be like, that's it. So
you had a dream that you was gonna have a thug with a church girl with over a hot mess protective daddy.
I did. So I knew that I knew that I was going to have a book. I knew that the book was going to be about the difference between relationship and religion. I knew that going into the book, but I didn't, all the Mega stuff, I didn't know how I was going to illustrate that until I went to sleep and Mega was like, tap, 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 hey, I'm here. And then it came together like, so, because clearly Ruth had relationship and religion, and Mega had relationship. So it was kind of like, okay, it showed different ways of, like they were both on the same journey to have relationship with God, but they were in very different places, clearly.
Yeah.
So
very different places. And girl, I just got Mega Man, Megatron, which I love. Ned, his best friend. Mm-hmm. I love their relationship. I love their Goldie, his mom. I love them. She is funny to me.
Love.
She had a 16. She was in it for a guy. I love how she wanted to live next door to her son. I love that closeness to them. Because I always say that. I'd be like, I was like, everybody, oh, your kid's going to leave you. I said, I don't think my kids will. I think we'll be like one of those family that lives on the compound because I don't think they want to
Yeah,
be fucked.
so in like a lot of times people, I think people don't realize there are more family compounds than people realize. See, now we hear about family compounds, we think this big thing. I'm from the country. You know how many family compounds I've seen? My grandmama live in the front, Uncle Bunk live back there, TT live right there, and that's a family compound.
It is because I got family compounds. My family not here in Connecticut, but in my South Carolina, they all was right around each other.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I love that. And I honestly said that. I was like, yo, this is going to be like me and my kids. I'm like, where y'all live? My son, he told me he did not want to go, like, he's only in the 8th grade, but he was like, what college you want to go to? You know, you have to think about these things. And he was like, you know what, Mom? I think I'm going to go. I said, what? I said, where you want to go? I don't know if I'm going to go. I said, why? He said, because I don't want to be far away from you guys. And I was looking at him like, boy, what you think we're planning for? When you're away, we're gonna be there too. Like we don't have a problem. We setting ourselves up.
Right.
So if you go to Alabama, if you go to UCLA, if you go to Miami, we're not gonna miss your games, boo. That's why they got flights. That's why we work. We're making sure that we've been working this hard to set ourselves up so we won't miss anything that's happening that's huge in your life. Vice versa with your sister. Like, and he's like, right. So then you start thinking like really where he really wanted to go. But I tell myself, okay, he don't want to leave his mama. And everybody always be like, oh, they want to leave. I'm like, he's about to go to high school. My daughter the same way. They like the knit of the, the family knit. And I love that. Sometimes it can be annoying.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. My daughter, she goes to Winthrop University, which is in Rock Hill, and she lives with me. You know what I'm saying? And when she was like, so she stayed with her father's side of the family. How old was she? She was like 12. And I was like, okay, Skedaddle, it's your turn. And she stayed with them until she graduated. She went to USC for a year, hated it there. She transferred to Winthrop. I said, live with me. My house is literally like 15 minutes away from the school. I was like, it don't make sense. You've already had that on-campus experience at USC. So, and I'm like, it's, when I make my plans, I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna look for a bigger place. I need 3-bedroom for my office. She's like, well, Mom, you don't have to plan around me, but I am, because I always want you to know that you have somewhere to come.
Exactly. They don't understand parenting at all. Mm-hmm. And who else don't understand parenting is his pastor.
He don't.
Girl.
He don't. But I'll say this: if you have not, I'm gonna encourage you to keep reading and get to Trusting in the Dark, and you will have a even more in-depth reason of why he is the way he is.
Wait. Let me hold on, y'all. Go ahead, you talk, but I'll be taking screenshots of the order of how I need to be reading your book.
Yeah, so Trusting in the Dark is the last one that came out.
Oh, I didn't get to that.
So yeah. So in that book, and you can technically read Trust in the Dark without reading the in-betweens. Technically you can, but in that book, you will definitely see exactly, you'll get the deep down on the pastor and the mama.
Oh my God. I'm about to be locked in. Because y'all heard that. Y'all heard she said Trust in the Dark. Right now, I'm reading, well, I didn't read it because I'm going to do this first. But the one right after this, and it says,
Can't Be Broken.
Yes, it has the girl who on the top. Yes. So I try to do it like in the order that you can put on your IG. I take a screenshot of your book order, and that's how it was going.
That's the best way. That's the best way to do it, to get the all-inclusive picture. Yeah. So you can understand the depths of the friendship, because in their friend circle, like for instance, Whimsy is Fiona's best friend, but she's cool with everybody else. Like there's different dynamics. Croy and Riker are best friends, but you rarely see Riker, but you see Croy with Mega and Ned more because they work together. So it's kind of one of those, there's different dynamics.
All right, hold on. So which one you said that I'll find how he's a hot mess?
So Trusting in the Dark. That's when you're going to get the deep down of her dad and her mama, quite frankly.
Is that a standalone?
So no, it's you can tell it's the last one in the saga. It comes after Pressure Cooker.
It's update your thing, girl, because it ain't
it's updated. It should be updated now. You might have an old screenshot. When'd you get that screenshot?
I went to your IG to make sure it's right.
Oh shoot! Let me
update it. I be on it because the last one.
Okay, well let me handle that then.
I'm like, she just posted it because I try to make sure I look at when y'all post it. so I
Let
could
me
get all the
see.
update once it's easier for me to
Yeah,
do it.
so I might just need to update my I might just need to update
I
my
don't see it anywhere on
IG because I was like, wait, what? Honey, look,
girl.
with all this
I'm a fan. I be having y'all stuff.
oh yeah, you're right. I do need to update that.
I
With
got
all
your
this,
back, girl. I'm like, hold up, I did not see this on the list.
yeah, it's the last one.
Let me know when you do that so that I can take another screenshot and delete the other one. But yeah, so let's get into this for real, for real. So
Okay.
Mega, love him. We start off when he, killing somebody, and I love that.
Mhm.
I hate that he killed people, but I like that in his hot messness, he still got morals. Like
Yeah.
he not just out here killing. Like no, you a rapist, you a pedophile, you deserve
Mhm.
it. Like, and I love how he says, "I'm God." Like how he vision himself by helping God, like yo, big dog, this is what I'm doing for you. Like that's real.
Right, like I'm your vengeance. Like some
Like,
things you don't need to be worried about. You got me. It's a warped sense of thought, but yeah.
yes, but I also like you said how you brought in the corporation, like you started from the
Mhm.
beginning, and I love how it's a black-owned corporation, but how they
Mhm.
have made sure everybody got degrees, everything
Yeah.
should not have business because that's how it should be in this world. Doesn't have to
Right.
be up, but we should always be looking out for one another. Like, no, if you work for
Right.
my company, this is what you're gonna be doing. This is how we all gonna be great. So I
Mhm.
love that about this story. Just a little hashtag because I've been reading it from the beginning, but so we got Mega, who is a killer, but he has multiple businesses.
He
Then we
does.
have Ruth, who is, the preacher's daughter, who's, meek, who has a freaking father is like a thorn in her side. I can't stand him. Like I
That
can't
he is.
stand and then, with mother who just shocked us, but I knew some of the mother. See, I'm like, no, I knew something was going to happen with the mama.
She's a little, yeah.
Yeah, and then so let's get into it, like how his mom was like, "Hey, you gotta go to this new restaurant," and he
Mhm.
gets there and he sees Ruth, and like
Mhm.
you already knew that was gonna be his wife. Like,
Right.
talk about it. Talk how you came into like, okay, this is how they're gonna meet up. How he knew this was gonna be her.
So I come like as far as how he knew it was gonna be her. Clearly, But as far at first I was like, okay, am I gonna make this like an insta love thing? Because I really do believe I do believe that when, especially from a man's point of view, I do believe that when a man meets the person that's his one, he knows it. Now, how he carries out what he knows looks different. So he may
Yeah,
know it and not even address it for years, for weeks. He may fumble the ball, never address it, but they know. It don't
yeah,
take a man
they don't.
2 weeks to realize whether you wife or I'm gonna just play with you a little bit. So
That's
I
it.
think that for me, I made him in a way where just his personality. All right, I want you, and I'm gonna have you. That's pretty much what this is going to be. It comes across as aggressive, controlling to a point,
Mm-hmm.
but the one thing I love about Mega and just in books in general, you can write like had this been the real world, Mega would be in jail. You're a stalker, sir. You're crazy. but
I love him.
but we
I
can we
love
can
it.
we can accept that unhinged stuff in books, but in real life, oh no, I'm calling them boys on you real fast.
He knew everything. Oh my god. I told you how do I not know everything about my wife? But I'd be like, yo, this guy's crazy. I
Like
love it.
her, look, and I'm like, I watch way too much Criminal Minds for this. Like, we're not doing this.
Oh
No.
my god. He knew everything. Like I already told you, babe. I told like, oh my god. Speaking into existence, iron sharpen
Uh,
iron. Yo, he knew what to quote, when to quote it. Oh, I love him.
Look,
I honestly do.
she said, I want a man of God. He said, oh, okay, man, I'll see you Sunday.
Girl,
And I'm
I
gonna come up and I'm
died.
gonna stand up and give an honor to God who is the head of my house. I'm gonna
And
stand
who
up and
invited you? My wife.
look, and was serious about it too. Was dead serious about it.
Yo, and how like I had to read that scene. I read it to my mom. I read it to so many people so many times. I said, let me tell you how smooth he did this. Like you killed that scene. Please talk about it because I died over and over again in that scene.
Because it's one of them things like it's the last thing you expect. Now, I grew up in church, so I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in church, but it's just the last thing you expect. You tell this man thinking you shunning him like, I want a man of God who's going to go to church. Okay, bet I'll be in church in a smooth suit, looking good. When they ask for the first time guest, I'm standing up and I'm going to let the people know where 1 and 2 have come to touch and agree that you were going to be my wife. And so it was just one, and he already knew the dad, like most people know, preachers' kids, they don't have an easy way. So it's kind of like you got to come up there, you not from the church. So, you know what I'm saying? Like your daddy ain't gonna like you know how. So he was like, I got to come through.
The scripture. Oh, sorry, sir. Let me make this clear. I'm speaking into existence because Lord said, I was like, oh my God. And then the mama said, you better claim my girl from all these church folks. And then when it got to the office after church, and how he shut him, girl, and then he kissed her.
And I like that. Like, you flipping scripture, so let me flip some too. Like, you talking real reckless, but the Bible says you're supposed to treat your wife like you would want to be treated yourself. Is that how you want somebody to talk to you? Look, since we flipping scriptures,
my heart is pounding right now for this man, good guy, because I'm telling you, I think that is a sexy. That's what she said. Is it, God? Is it okay that I'm lost? As a girl who ain't lusting after him, who don't want a thug who's sharp, who got a business, but who could cut somebody with the word of the Lord, with the hope, with the Bible.
Look.
And I said, I don't know now one woman. I said, if these guys are smart, and let me go sit in church. No, y'all better go sit in y'all word, know your scriptures, get close to God, and y'all don't have no problem. Because I don't know now one woman who don't want somebody who thug in the street, like can handle their own. Nobody want no punk. But if he ain't know the word, I don't know nobody who don't want that.
Somebody who he may pray crazy, but he'll pray. You know what I'm saying? Like his prayer was questionable, but it was at least he was doing it.
I love that prayer, Lord.
Questionable, but he praying. God hear him. God hear his heart. God, like, you know what?
Girl, Jesus, please get my fiction right together if I choke her. Who she thinks she talking? Oh my God!
Look, that man said, "Look, you said you was gonna send me a wife, but not to choke her out now. What we doing here? What is it?"
Remind her who she's connected to.
But on real, sometimes the life stuff happening. You looking like, wait a minute, God, hold on. We ain't talking about this. I don't remember no part of this. Like, you said you was gonna bless me coming in and going out, baby. We about to be out because what is you doing? Like, yeah, like, and then I was telling how Mega prays is how I pray. So that's a reflection of how I truly pray. And I'm like, oh, my prayers don't be all the Father God, and my prayers be like, look, Big G, what is we doing? Because I don't agree with none of this. Like, can you like send me the plan and I can use a red line or something? And instead of me telling you my plan and you red line, you're rude. Like, you're rude. Like, you're just rude. So
yeah. I tell everybody, I don't know how to pray. I said, you know how to have a conversation? Your prayer life is a conversation with God.
Right.
That's all he's asking is a relationship.
Right.
He clearly said, I want a relationship with you. So he went through the authentic you, because anything that's not like him, he's going to change, because the more you're going to be more like him. He didn't say something.
And through Trust in the Dark, you'll see that growth in him, even in Christ. You'll see that growth in him. Even now, does he still act a donkey? Yes, but he has grown a lot.
Who don't like a guy who's crazy about? Who don't like a guy who's ready to fight your daddy and your mom? Look, my thing coming on. Look, fight your daddy and your mama, because y'all know half my hair is braided and half not. I was like, ooh, I have enough time to take all my hair out. Now this time I was like, nope, because I know I'll come in here with an afro, whatever. But I was like, I ain't doing half and half. That's just a hot mess. I ain't gonna. My husband's like, you ain't gonna go. He's like, my husband's like, I was hoping you did something together, because he's like, I know you would jump on there and do not care.
Right? Yeah, don't.
I said, don't do my but I said I ain't gonna do that today because I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it, but I done. But they know I'll come in here with everything everywhere. Like, hey guys, this is who I
am. This is it now. But yeah.
But there's so many juicy things that happen in this book. Like when he saw her at the mall and introduce her to Joy as a future wife.
Right.
How much Joy coming up to the freaking restaurant.
Right. And
Talk
and
about
look, there are, and that's that question when you meet a man, you got to ask the question: are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? Is there anyone out here that thinks they're your girlfriend? Like that's
that.
what one of the girls in the other book club said. I said that's true because a lot of these girls be out here assuming they're in relationships.
Yep.
And and with Joy's character, it was kind of like, but I don't know why you assume that because he has made it very clear what your placement is. But also, we've seen females, a dude tell them straight up, and they think they can change him by some magical vice grip coochie. Like, ma'am, if he said no from the beginning of the vice, then when the grip get there, he's still gonna be a no.
Exactly. And he made it clear. And like that's why I like when Ruth was like, you know, we're together. She go, what are we? He's like, what do you mean, what are we? I'm like, no, she's right. Because same thing with my husband. I've been with my husband for 19 years. And when we first got together, he used to tell everybody I was his girlfriend. I'm like, why you keep telling me I'm your girlfriend? He said, because you are. I'm like, you never asked me. Just because we go on dates and we hang out, but you never officially say, hey, wait. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be assuming nothing. You're going to have me out here looking stupid because everybody says you have a boyfriend. Nope. I'm glad you
because that's the quickest way. Something go wrong. Well, I don't remember when we got together. Wait a minute.
Oh, I want clarity. And then when you ask, yes. But until then, I'm not. And that's what happens. People, like you said, assume you do all these things for the guy, and he's not even claiming you. He's by saying why you sitting next to him because people do play games. But no, y'all need to have a no. Let's have a real conversation. Yes, you asked me. This is what we're doing. We're gonna meet family, whatever the case may be. But that's why, like, even when she was with him, you call me wife every day, but you've been saying that before I even had a full conversation with you. Now, let me know where I really stand and this, and enjoy. And then I love when he called his mama to beat her up.
He said, "I don't touch no women, but let me tell you what I do have. I have a mama, and my mama's with it." And Goldie said, "I'm on the way, baby."
Don't be playing in my daughter-in-law face.
And then she didn't even know the girl. She's like, oh, I got a daughter-in-law. Okay, you know, like, look, I'm going by my son word. Like, look.
Oh
like,
my God!
Was like, you don't even know her. Like, you just found out 5 seconds ago. It don't matter, but I know now.
And I love that because it shows the relationship between him and his mom, and also how much he really wanted Ruth. Because even the mom said that Joy, that's the first time I ever met any chick my son was dealing with, and that was to defend your honor. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that how he held himself, he knew that's who he wanted, and he was going after her. And I love that. And then let's get on to the real drama lies. That daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And a hashtag before we even found out that Josie, I think that's her name.
Yeah, Josie. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know, I usually look at my notes. That heifer, I didn't like it from the jump. But before she even did what we found out at the end. But wait, hold on a minute. Wait, rewind. Let's rewind. Let's talk about the first date that the father hooked her up with. I cannot skip over that because that was hilarious, and I loved every bit about it. Look, tell me how you came up with that scene.
Cause like, so a lot of the book girlies, they love the date interruptus. I call it the date interruptus. They love it for the man to pop up and do some crazy stuff. And I was like, it just seems right that the daddy would set her up on a date with a minister. He wants her to, and it would seem right to me that the minister ain't all together because the daddy ain't all together. And generally, birds of a feather flock together, whether you're intended to or not.
Exactly.
So, you know, okay. And the boy is talking crazy because he ain't much different. He
called her a whoremonger. Oh,
look. So, and then you happen to go to the one restaurant that Mega franchises. You know, Cortland is a growing place. You know, they're capitalizing on this growing, you know, city. So Mega was like, "Look, I'm coming through." Like and that goes to show he done told everybody that this is his wife. And when they came in, that cook was like, "Mega, your girl in here."
He said, "I knew her daddy set her up. She looked miserable." He looked at the camera. Ah,
right.
He's in the guy like, "You work here?" You know he don't.
Yeah, this mine right here.
Punch him in his face. I love it. And then I love how she gets up with him too. I'm going with him. So that scene was like, I died. I was like, oh my God, Megan, I freaking love you.
Yeah, but yep, that cry. Yeah, because people be quick to talk and like, ma'am, like you ever seen somebody on social media that you personally know, and then they talking on social media, and you looking like, I wonder if they realize I'm on here and I know them. No, they can't realize that.
I told I told my sister like a week and a half ago. I was like, I'm ready to go live. She's like, what you want to talk? I said, I just want to cuss everybody out. I hate when people talk about stuff that doesn't pertain to them, who ain't real, who don't live this life. Like everybody, oh, you should do that. I'm like, if you really live this life, you wouldn't be talking about that.
Right.
So I hate the fake the funk, act like you got it all together. We all learning and going through this life. Nobody's perfect. Let's help each other grow and build, but don't act like you got all your stuff together because obviously you don't.
Right.
So I love when he did that. And found out he was sleeping with all the girls, like he grooming them. He freaking smoked weed, and you got to never call her a home whoremonger and all that. Get that what? Knock him out, Mega, and that's what he did. So I love that. And then he went back to church again.
Did.
And I love his petty. I love how he timed it. We're gonna be late. No, we're not. The pastor will come out this time. Like,
oh yeah. Praise and worship be up there for a certain amount of time. We're gonna walk in right as the pastor about to get up on the stage. And we're gonna come to not the last pew, the first pew.
And sit next to his girl. And even though Georgie was trying to be hated, but the mama said,
right. But mama said slide. Mama slid all the way over too. All the way over.
Said, oh, come over, you too, Ned. Oh, girl. I loved it. And he said, I love that. He's like, when he be like, oh, they with it. Yeah, they with it with you. And then she's like, she ain't gonna be your friend. Well, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus.
Right.
You do answer prayer. But when the daddy saw him, and then oh my God,
and then the daddy said, "You gotta leave." Send a man inside. Say, he wants you to leave. Unless he about to carry me out this church, I'm not leaving nowhere.
Nope. And then how the daddy had to try to make the sermon about him, and he goes, "Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, Pastor, for talking about yourself." Oh my God!
You better tell on yourself, Pastor. Look.
Oh my God! Then he could walk into the office, tell him about his hot mess self. Like he is so smooth, so calm. I just love him. I really, really did love Mika. Like everything about him was so freaking. And Ruth just sitting there,
right? Because she still like at that time she still didn't know herself. I think a lot of Megan's character, the assertiveness was what made her feel comfortable to grow into herself. Because it's one thing to grow into yourself when you know you got a backing that supports you, versus you just growing into yourself and you all alone. Those are two completely different feelings. So
exactly. Yeah. Even like, well, no, I'm not gonna say it after we talk about this part. So then after all that, they go on their date, and the mom got her dress and all that type of stuff. Because, well, we know when a father, we don't gotta talk about it, but y'all need to read all this stuff. But I'm gonna talk about the date part. So we go on a date, and the father finds out, comes up to drive all with the hot mess Georgia. Oh my God, I want her to fight that girl so bad, but anyways, find all this stuff out, and then he has her, stay with him. Prior to all those things, hot mess people, if you didn't read it, you know how the father took the phone, changed the number, busted her room, find out she was the one who's doing all these book reviews, all that hot mess is because she doesn't have a life. He's just stalking his daughter.
Right.
Hot mess. I really think back to what you're saying, finding herself when she was like the mom, and I'm like, no, you stay with him.
Right.
Separating herself. You know what I'm saying? Being with him, understanding like he was very like anything she tried to do to escape or not be a woman, he was like, no, this is what we doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? When it came down to like, oh, I can't stay here. No, we're gonna get clothes. Oh, I need to drive. We're gonna get you a car. Like he made sure that she was independent.
Right.
And everything she tried to do, he was like, no. And the mom was right with him. And like we said, no, he's for you because he's gonna push you to where you need to be. Because even when she went off and he had to pray that crazy prayer, and then she had to realize, like, hold up, he's right, God, this is what I need. Because she was all her emotions, like she just now, mind you, she's 28. I'm like, girl, you better have some backbone. But that also shows you that people could really groom you, mess you up. Our parents can really have you going crazy. Because I'm like, how old is she again?
Yeah. But that spiritual manipulation is something serious. Look now.
Why?
I know. So I got that. One of my one of my, I guess she's my aunt. She's my aunt, but technically cousin. She was married to a pastor, and when they got married, he made her throw all her underwear away and buy all white stuff, all
But
white
she didn't
underwear.
care.
I think he went. I think it might have been a holiness church, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. But she couldn't wear nothing but white underwear and bras. I said, "Oh no,
No, that's
that
not it.
just."
And the crazy part about all of this is like, with the father really pissed me off. Like, she was 24-year-old. She went away to college, done school, had her first sexual interaction. She's 24. I can't wait to really read that other chapter because I still can't get past that. She's 24 years old. You calling her a whore. You bust into her house. Get the guy out of here. Even though I really don't like how she lost her virginity to that hot mess guy. I really wish it was a better experience. But I understand it because when she got with Mega, that makes it even funnier when they did that. When he went down on her and he thought she had asthma. Talk about it, because that scene, that is hilarious.
Look.
What
And
made
then a
you
lot
come
of times,
up?
I'll be honest with you, a lot of times when I write, my intimate scenes are kind of comical because I don't like writing them. So I'm like, I always put some kind of comedic like ease in it because I'm like, I just feel so uncomfortable writing it like this or whatever. And it's not like I'm grown, but it's a different feeling to do it and write about it for somebody else to read it. It's like, Lord Jesus, how much? And then I told somebody, I said, look, half of these sex scenes are not realistic. Pick your favorite sex scene in the book and go to your husband and say, y'all gonna act it out. You're gonna get hurt 9 times out of 10 unless you're like Dominique Dawes, Simone Biles. Like, you're gonna get hurt.
And at the end of the day, we still watch some fictional books, but I loved it. He said, "What's gonna happen when she gets this D? I'm gonna have to get a whole medical."
Like,
That was so funny. I just bust out laughing. Like, that's what I was saying about the story. It had drama, but it also made you laugh. It had made you feel have compassion, understanding for Ruth. You know, you're rooting for them. And I even like the scene where she acted like she wanted, have sex with him. He was like, wait, hold up. Whatever you said, please forgive me for saying that. But I love that scene because one part in that scene that I honestly like really, really I love that you wrote this is when she said, you know what, I'm gonna be with you, whatever. And he was like, now I understand why women say if they want to be seen. Because he felt seen. And I was like, yes, why don't people talk about it? I said, that's so true. Like when somebody could honestly, authentically accept who you are and understand who you are, and it's really that simple because everybody's like, I know you. Do you? You want to say but do you really know me? You have to really pay attention and you have to accept what I come with, flaws or not. Like most people love ideal of people or want to be able to control and change people. And that's not what it is. Like I told everybody, I said, what? Like people ask me, Mel, it's like, what would you give mom? It's like people who never been like married or stuff like that. So my biggest, biggest, what I live by is I always say this: kill whatever dream you had before you had. And they're like, why would you say that? I said because you would never authentically get to experience your children or your spouse if you always compare them to a dream you
had. That's good advice. That's actually amazing advice.
I had to have that because God had to tell me that because I used to be like, I got everything I want in my life and I wasn't happy. And I couldn't figure out why.
Because you're thinking about, I want these, but it's like
I expected my kids to be clean and neat. I expected them to read. I expected them to be so obedient. Like all these different things. My husband's gonna be there. And then God told me, He said, kill that dream because you would never thoroughly experience who I gave you and why I gave you these people.
Because you're not living in that. You're not living in that moment. You're not living in that relationship. You're living in the dream relationship and trying to change him to this dream man.
Yep, everything we thought about. And I was like, and I didn't even realize she's like, you're comparing them to false images of who you thought like you are. Like little, I've been like, I love my baby, and I like it's a point it hurt my feelings. Like I used to cry. Like, it used to hurt my mom. Like, why is that? I'm like, they don't even listen to me. Like, and then I'm like, God, why can I experience how you want me to experience? He said, you need to kill the ideal you thought they were going to be.
That makes sense.
And ever since then, that's why I tell you I love vacations. I said because I'm not mom on vacations. I'm just Whitney, so I get to really see them. And it took me a while. It took me time to do it because I was like, why am I like, I don't understand, Lord. And he had to tell me, he said, because you're comparing them to fake people.
Yeah.
Not
And
gonna be perfect.
I can even see that going as far as just your life in general. Like when we're little girls, we think we're going to do this and that, and then when it doesn't happen, we're so devastated. Like, oh my God, it didn't work out. But it's like, well, maybe it wasn't supposed to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe it just wasn't supposed to, work. I was talking to somebody the other day, and my dad, like, how people say, and it's kind of correlated, God, rejection is God's protection.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my dad one time, he told me I didn't get a job. I wanted this job, a dream job, my dream job. I wanted to get this dream job. I didn't get it. I'm crying to my daddy. Daddy, I didn't get the job, blah, 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 blah. I'm crying. He just listening. He just rocking his little rocking chair listening. I said, well, you know what? I'm fine because rejection is God's protection. And my dad said, you're right, because God's sure protecting them people from you. I
I
said,
love
wait a
him.
minute, what? He said,
I love him.
he said, see, y'all like to spit that verse, not realizing it could work the other way. He said,
Mm-hmm.
you wasn't prepared for that job. What did you do besides, he said, what did you do besides apply and make your resume sound like you was ready for that job?
Wow.
Sir, you're not going to handle me like this.
I love him. I love that.
And he said, nah. He said, sometimes God got to protect the company from you because you about to go over there and waste their time and you're going to look like an idiot. So that was your protection. You didn't look like an idiot. Bruh, you're not just going to handle me like this, Melvin. This is just not how we going to handle this. But Melvin was a lot like Megan. Megan was a lot like my father. Like, so like that I'm going to say whatever, whenever. Like my dad was on his deathbed. I'm talking like hospice deathbed. And I'm sitting beside him crying like, oh my God, Dad, I don't want you to go, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who's going to walk me down the aisle? Who's going to this? And my dad says, baby, you're putting the cart before the horse. You don't even have a man. Well, actually, you don't have a horse. I like my tears just dried up. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go.
I love him.
He was like, I'm
Daddy.
just saying, like, stop worrying about stuff that you don't need to be worried about. Like certain, so Mega and my dad are very close in range. Me, even the prayer life. I used to tell my dad, I'm praying that God hear you. And my dad said, you're praying the wrong prayer. Because if I die and go to heaven, I'm healed. But you're going to be mad at God because you don't think he didn't answer your prayer. He said, pray for his will. And I was like, oh, like things like, my dad, so ironically, my dad used to be a minister. And then he backslid like the best of them. And so it was one of those, like, when I tell you my dad backslid like a backsliding champ. But it was funny because my dad would give me advice that was very street and then add a verse to it. And I'm like, I don't know how to go about that.
Girl.
Like he would literally tell me something like, you need to be you need to be a Proverbs 31 woman, but in the same sentence, tell me, coochie ain't for sale, but that thing ain't free either. Wait, Daddy, what? What you want me to do? Be a Proverbs 31? Or what are we doing here, sir? I was like, Daddy, what? Like, what?
Oh
but you need to be Proverbs 30. But you just told me that I don't know what you want me to do here, sir. I'm going to just not deal with
that is so funny. And that's funny. And I love that you dedicated your name to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's beautiful. Because he still lives on. But I love your dad. Like those are some great freaking advice. And he had to be a mega because if he's mega, woo!
No.
But since you want to talk about the father and the backsliding, let's talk about how the mom put the daddy out, right? Because he found out that she pulled her daughter's hair and all that good stuff. And then they plot and they go to church. Talk about that church scene because girl.
So I've been in a church where not just like that, but I've been in a church where somebody has kind of blasted the pastor and did that whole thing. So that kind of just stemmed off of that. Like, look, I'm the first lady, so I have a right to be up here talking. I'm right. I've been the quiet first lady so long. So let's talk about it, Sister Quiet asking me about penis piercings. Like, let's talk about it, sister girl. And church people are pettier than regular people. Like there's a special petty when you can put a Bible verse on it. That's a special kind of petty.
How he'd have used a Bible verse I say that's why I like that he said in here. Mega, I think, said it. People are lazy. They take anything from what the pastor says and don't even read it yourself. Because if you don't read the whole chapter, whole book, the whole scripture, you can take anything
That's
out of context.
that's it right there. And that was my point for that whole thing. I can give you one verse out of a chapter and do a whole sermon on that one verse. You ain't read the rest of the chapter. There's 3 other chapters in the book, a whole bunch of verses before that one chapter, but you're gonna let me do this one thing and not go back and look at it and read it for your own
People
understanding.
manipulate it because some of that stuff I'm like, ooh, that's not what the Lord said. But if you don't know what the Lord said because you didn't find out
Exactly.
yourself, anybody can manipulate you. And that's like even this season. I'm like, I have this thing sitting right here every day. It's 52 weeks with the Lord. So it gives you different scripture, different things, and it asks you questions to see what you think about what you just read and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that's important because a lot of times you in church, you look at what the pastor said or anybody say something over you. I'm like, don't you say to receive stuff because you don't know. And I tell people too, I would say this: who's talking to you? Because if you read the Bible, there's multiple spirits in this Bible. Who you listening to?
Right. You
Because
right.
Satan's in there,
Right.
Jesus in there, the disciples in there. A lot of people are talking.
You right.
You know what I'm saying? And it ain't all God that speak.
Right.
Even in
But in that, even in Mega, I kind of honed in on the Rhema word. Like you need to listen to what God is saying over this Bible. Like I get the Bible's there, it's the guide. It's the guide. But if you asking God a direct question and he gives you that answer, but then first of all, I've always been taught like when you have your conversation with God, that's not really for you to be going to share with everybody else unless you're told to share it. So a lot of times we get into situations spiritually, we hurt our own spiritual feelings because we talking to people we ain't supposed to be talking to anyway. Like I didn't, because a lot of times I've seen people, God told me this, you go tell somebody, really you telling them to get that, does this sound right? So you already doubting God. Like you just want that, okay. So now you need a committee approval over God. That's crazy work.
Yep, and that also shows you that you don't know the Lord. Because I even told my mom, she goes, "Why you don't say something?" I said, "Mom, I stopped talking to you about God really because God wanted me to know that do I trust Him." And I said, "You were my clutch." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Anytime I have an issue, I said, Mom, let's pray. Let's this." She goes, "Yeah, we could text you." I said, "Yeah, but sometimes He wants me to pray to Him. He wants me to come directly to Him, and not to you. Something happened to you now. What? My whole spiritual life is gone." And she goes, "You're right." I said, "Yeah." And what if my kid wants me to pray for them? And I'm gonna go pray, ask your grandmama. No, I need to have my own direct line to him because he listens to me just as much as he listens to you. And like you said, everything ain't meant for everybody to say. Sometimes he want to see if I'm gonna shut the heck up, listen to him. Everything is good advice, but doesn't mean it's God. If God told me to do this and you said this, even though it sounds good, who I'm gonna listen to? God or you? So then you become my God because I didn't listen to what God told me. Sometimes you have to isolate yourself so you can build that relationship. Like even with Mega, how do you know God? He said, just because I do this thing don't mean I don't got a line to the man.
Right. I gotta have one. Like I know I'm out here acting a donkey. Like I know that. And what's funny is when I was writing Mega Man, like I was talking, I was like, God, I see you seeping through. I see you trying to get me caught up. Because as much verses in that book, I had to have a Bible open somewhere. And I was calling one of my sisters who's a minister, like, hey, let's talk. What does this verse mean? This is my interpretation. Even when Ruth's father was distorting the verses, I had to know the real in order to distort for the book purpose. So I'm calling her like, so this is what I'm getting from this verse. Honey, my sister done talked me into a whole Bible study on the low. I'm like, see, God, I was supposed to ask one question. Why is it an hour and a half later? And we done moved past 50,000 other verses that I don't even plan to put in this book.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yes, girl.
So I'm like, I felt like, God, you having me write this book for a deeper purpose because even if you're not religious, spiritual even, there's still something about a relationship, and that's why I was raised. Mom was like, you have to have relationships. So I may not step foot in the church, but I trust and believe when I need to fall on my face, when I need to fast, when I need to pray, when I need to do those things and say, okay, God, what you need me to do? Even I became a full-time author in March. I was scared. I was like, I don't know. And God was like, trust me. You gonna trust me? You gonna trust me? I was like, okay, I'm gonna trust you. It's almost a year later, and it's been the best year I've had in my adult life. So
congratulations.
thank you. So I'm like, okay, God got something, and I don't think it may not always be easy like it feels right now, but God knows His children, and He knows my anxiety, because that was my biggest thing. Like, what are my bills? He said, I got you. He said, just follow these instructions. He said, follow these financial instructions, and I'm gonna set you up so you're not stressing and about to pull your hair out. And that's what I did. I didn't want to. I wanted to go shopping. I wanted to take a little trip. But I was like, all right, I'll wait.
That is yes, because like you said, God's on time, but we got moving how He wants us to move.
Mm-hmm.
And you would never regret anything God has for us. Even with all, what happened in the book. Even when He aired out the dirty laundry, that needed to be said so Ruth can have a breakthrough herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because finding out that daddy got another kid, a baby with Josie, you gonna be together. Look at you.
Look, that was right on time. That was good. That was good.
That was good.
And I went, look, because I'm telling you, like, well, look, when I left my job to become, I said, I'm gonna take me a vacation, and I'm gonna take me a vacation. I'm gonna just take, and God was like, not right now, not right now. I said, but I just a nice trip to Jamaica, and God was like, you trying to go to Jamaica, and I'm trying to send you to the Maldives. Which one you want to go to? I'm gonna wait. I want to go to the Maldives because a dream of mine is to go to the Maldives for a week or two as a writing retreat. I just write. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and let God move on His time, because that's not a cheap trip. That's not a cheap.
No, getting there is not cheap. That's where it best. I tell people, getting there is the part that's costs the most money. Once you get there, because where you are, of course, you're not doing travel. So, but everything's on God's time, and I get it, because I'm in a lot of transitions now myself, and God told me, like, I am going on a trip. Usually I go on multiple, and this year I'm only going on one trip as a family group. It's gonna be a nice one, but I was just like, but they're looking, I go. I said no, because God said I can't do that. He's like, I'm going. And where He's taking me, I know it's only Him, because I never thought I'll be in this place.
Right.
But I'm like, I know this is where He's directing me. And right. I'm like, I have to stay in this vein, because I never thought I would be having this opportunity. I've been doing this for my career. I'm like, it's totally different. And like you said, I have to trust Him and see where it goes. And like you said, even financial thing, I'm like, but I said, but next year, y'all, 2026, I got some.
Look, it started small for me. Like, even like my little resets, I try to do a monthly reset where I check myself into a hotel, Airbnb for like a weekend or a couple of days, and I just reset. I just don't do anything. I talk to God. I do whatever. I just relax, and then that resets my whole month. And then I can come back and be refreshed. So even those little things, I believe that God has set me up to lead me up to this Maldives or wherever because it may end up being somewhere else. But all I know, it just got to be an overwater bungalow. That's all I know. It got to be that. That's what I want. I'm like, all right, God, we can compromise with that right now. I'm not letting that go.
Overwater bungalows you can
don't put me in Dubai with all that sand. I don't want to go to Dubai.
What I do like is your monthly reset. So all my people who listen to me and my girlfriends, y'all gotta remind me to do a monthly reset.
Yeah,
I want to do a quarterly one.
Even if you go in your house and close your door and tell your kids and your husband, okay, this Sunday is only mine. I'm not doing nothing. Husband, you can bring me my breakfast, lunch, and dinner on a tray. Knock it at the door, knock 3 times.
I just told my husband that Friday. He was like, "Oh, take tomorrow off." Like, I said Friday. He said, "What do you do on Saturday?" I said, "Who's gonna do my stuff for me on Saturday?" And I said to them, my mom was like, "You know what? I gotta look out you." I said, "No, y'all do. Y'all gotta understand the mental load is something for real. If I'm gonna take a day off, I need my whole day to be like, I don't have to think about anything."
Right. And I know when I come out of here, everything done. I don't have to come to like,
we ain't there yet, but we're moving in the right direction.
It can start with a couple hours. It can start with a couple hours and then build it up.
Exactly. So my husband set up like a nice date night, had the kids do certain things. I said, y'all moving in the right direction. I said, but my goal, I'm letting all y'all know, is that I eventually want to have a weekend where I don't do anything. Even my meal preps and stuff like that. Like my mom's like, "Oh, you went crazy. That's why I didn't get to finish my hair, because I've been like prepping for the week because my son do basketball and all my business, and I still work. And so I'm like, yo, I gotta have my stuff together. So that takes some time. I said, I want to have it where, hey, maybe one of you guys, like, oh, you already know how I prep. Do the juices. I make my own teas, my juices. I'm like, y'all see me do it enough. Somebody be like, oh, I got you this week to get into that mood. But like you said, I could see, I was telling my girlfriend this, that God is, because I've been steadfast in what he's telling me to do. I'll be there the weekend. You have, yes, you will, sir. But on a serious note, I see the change. As long as I've been steadfast every morning, waking up at 5 o'clock, doing my workout, praying with him, I've been seeing like, oh, okay, people jumping on board and they're coming in. So I can't wait. And I'll probably text you, girl, I'm on a weekend.
Look, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. Like people don't realize. I've done a reset before where I literally slept the whole weekend. I ended up getting like an apartment, like an Airbnb apartment uptown Charlotte. I slept, it was a high rise. I just slept. I woke up, went on the balcony. The little the apartment building had a restaurant at the top. I go upstairs, eat, read a book, read my Kindle, go downstairs, go back to sleep. I came home, I was like, let's go.
It's important. It's so important to reset and recharge. That's why my husband like 2 years ago, he said, you don't even happy when you're on vacation. I said, that's not the truth. I said, but my vacation, I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to worry about cooking. I don't have to worry about cleaning. I don't have to worry about yelling at nobody. And then that's when I could see that God, he's like, I did it. I said, yeah. I said, I'm a mom. My kids, like my son was sick the week before my daughter was, and 2 or 3 o'clock, Mom, what's going on? Like, for him to call me in the middle of the night, something's off. My son had 104 point something temperature. He was burning. You see what I'm saying? My daughter was sick. They had like walking pneumonia, and it was like back to back to back. It was like they couldn't get over whatever the heck was going on. And I'm like, so lack of sleep, still running the business, still cooking, still going to work, still doing all these type of things, like the anxiety, a mental load. So that reset and like doing what God does is real. And that's why I tell people, I feel like y'all not women, y'all not my wife, you're not mom. And if you're not really involved in that role, you will never get it. You could be all these things, but if you're not involved, don't talk to me about what I do and how I do it. Like I was like, my girlfriend's like, yo, you're always busy. I'm like, I know. That's why most of the time I talk to you guys are in the car, because the only time you're gonna like doing this, I have like everyone has to know. Yo, mommy's on live. You see my daughter try to get in. Yeah. Like everybody has to know, because this is my time to talk to my author friends, to support them, have this adult conversation about something I love, and to really go there and evolve, just like how Ruth did in the story. Like all those secrets came out, and that she kind of snapped. Like, what? You had me on lockdown like this, and you out here
got a whole family?
Secret. Well, at the church, she only thought about the Josie
baby.
Josie baby, who's like 1 now. Don't even know. Josie's a hot mess, by the way. You gonna have a baby by the pastor, then drop the baby off at a random friend house. Haven't seen a baby in a year. That trifling heifer. Then gonna try to show up at the woman, your old job, with the wife of the guy you said when I had kids with. And you go, girl, you don't get out of here. She needed her behind. But I wish somebody would have really whooped her behind. I'm not even lying. Then the father comes to the restaurant, and then she finds out that he did act like he hated her. That's why I can't wait to read the other one, because I want to like what I really want to know. I don't know if you're going to talk about this in that book, but I hope you do. Like, what was his issue with her? Like, he had an issue with her.
I do.
So don't tell me because I want to read it. That was killing me. I'm like, yo, is she going to tell? But I saw it was a series. I'm like, maybe in another book she's going to tell.
It is.
Why he feels so wet like that. I know.
I break that down I break that down as Trust in the Dark.
Okay, good, because I wanted to know, because that was pissing me the heck off. And somebody really should have beat Josie behind, because she was pissing me off. And then you find out that your father has a whole nother family. He embezzled money, and how he treats you, like that broke when she went off, and then Megan had to do his prayer to Jesus.
Like, look now, hold on now.
Oh my God! So that those scenes were everything to me. But I do want to talk about this one thing, because I want to know if this place is real, and I have something else I'm going to say to you after that. The spa, is that a real place?
The whimsical queen? Whimsical queen? No. I made that up.
I was like, I want to go here.
I made that up. Look, you know what? I laugh. I'll be like, look, if you read my books on the low, I'll be dropping some bomb business plans.
You do.
I be dropping some bomb business plans if you catch them. Like, but I'm like, look, ain't looks up for the taking. But it sounds like I would love a spa like that. Like that'd be a bomb spa.
It would everything in one. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
girl, so you ain't lying. But I did want to give you your props about something, and I really, really appreciate this. Some other, but you did it like all the time. Like I love that all the shout outs you gave to other authors.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love every last one of them. I downloaded the book from like every
Yeah,
last one.
I'm a
I
reader
wish,
first. I'm a
huh?
reader first. I'm a reader first.
Yes.
So
But some people don't do that. Like I appreciate when authors say, "Hey, you heard about this author? You heard about this person?" Because even me, as I'm a travel agent, I own my
mhm.
own travel agent, but I love to read. And when I went to my first book expo, I met so many authors that I talk to all the time, and I brought a group of girlfriends. Like, and this is how Winning Escapes book club started. I had an in-person book club with my girlfriends, but because I should travel a lot with my girl, and everybody like, "Oh, I want to come." I'm like, let me do a virtual one. And that's how
Right,
it grew my audience. But I'm like, even with the authors, they're like, yo, I appreciate you. Every year you come to, you buy all my books. I'm like, because at the end of the day, I believe you read what you sow. And also, I'm a fan. I'm going
right,
to support you. How do I expect you to keep on writing if I don't buy a book?
right. Supporting
Like,
supporting others doesn't hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't hurt me. It helps me. And I do like, and I tell people, you can usually tell when I'm reading, what I'm doing, what I'm eating, what I'm watching when you read my books. Even in Trust in the
mm-hmm,
Dark, when you get there, you can definitely tell that I was reading Jaquel J's Delgado series because that's what Ruth is reading. So it's
mm-hmm,
kind of like, look, bro, if I'm reading it, and I'm gonna let you know you need to go ahead and read this. And that's just, I've always been like that. I'll put the hyperlink in there so you don't got to go too far to find it, you know. And
mm-hmm.
it's just even small businesses. I've mentioned real businesses like that are black owned, small. If I've used your product, I like your product, I'm gonna big it up. You know, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
look, this is a nice product. I'm not asking you for anything because at the end of the day, I strongly believe that my blessing is in being a blessing.
Amen.
So it's like just one, and then you have to also know your reach. So I'm not, you know, I don't sit here and claim to be like just this, but I know I got a little something with me, and I know that I can influence somebody to potentially, you know, use something or do something because I'm a shopper. Like I shop retardedly too much. Bad word. I shop a lot. So I put stuff on there like, y'all, this is good. Somebody but God, I tried this good. That's the begin. That's what influence is, you know. So if I could say, y'all, read this book, trust me, I'm not hurting nobody.
Girl, I'm telling you right now, no, I loved all of it. You hear me? From the beginning to the end. And I was like, oh my, I love the proposal. I thought it was big. I love how they put the dogs in it. I didn't like that she didn't want to give no baby, but I'm like, she's gonna get the one. I'm gonna find out, and then and somebody else, she's gonna pop out the baby.
You are.
I wanted the baby too. I'm like, give him the freaking baby. Like,
You're gonna find, see what Ruth, what goes on with them. But yeah, they grow. It's a good.
and I love that. That's what I love about your series because you still find out about the other people,
mm-hmm,
and you even have like even in the Cantor and the Wolves and stuff, like you still have your original people pop up in
mm-hmm.
there and stuff like that too. So I love all of it. I'm for all of it, and I want to tell you that you are a blessing. You really,
Thank
really
you,
are. Your pen is amazing. I am always entertained. You never disappoint because you really tell a story.
thank
And
you.
that's what reading is in books. And you give it all the time. Can they be longer? Absolutely.
But you
Because
know
I
what?
listen to all of it.
Lately I've been itching towards writing longer books. Like in the beginning of my career, I was a novella queen. I was popping. But lately I'm starting to notice that okay, these books are getting a little longer because I think that comes from a growth in my writing, learning how to better develop my characters and
Mhm.
uh show something instead of saying something, showing like, so just different little tricks that I'm learning. And some of it can get a little bit wordier, so it's kind of like okay, I'm learning. So yeah.
I honestly, all your books have been amazing. I haven't had one that I'm like, I love them all. And I tell you about everybody could be longer because like, not everybody. Because some people might, they're novellas,
Mm-hmm.
good novellas, but you can tell when you develop these characters. Like Mega, you could go 100 years. Like his character and Ruth,
Mm-hmm.
they could keep on going. The mama, all of it was amazing. But I really want to say I do appreciate you.
Thank
I
you.
I had to like wait forever to read that. I was like, because I was going through your thing and I was like, because I read all and I had to stop.
I updated it, so Trust in the Dark is on there. I
But I
just
had to
let me do it
stop
right
because I
now
know
before I
me.
forget.
I
All
will
right,
go
before
through
I
your whole
forget.
series. Well, I'm doing a family saga, and I said, should I do
Mhm.
the other one? But I was like, no, I want to just kind of. I always skip over the standalone, and then I'll go back, like say, in the middle of something, and then
Mhm.
I'll read a standalone. But I'm very invested in characters.
Mhm.
I'm so, and I always try to wait till the series is done. Like people are like, why do you wait? I
Right.
just read a book and the series wasn't done. I was so mad because I thought it was done because I was like, oh, this came out like 6 months ago. They should have dropped the next book by now, and they didn't. And that was my fault for not freaking looking, but I assumed you see what happened. I was
Mhm.
so mad because then I have to remember what I read, mind you. But then I read like 50 books in between. It'll come
Right.
back to me.
So now I gotta pick it back up just to make sure I remember, or at least read the last couple chapters of the first book to jog my
Exactly.
memory. Yeah, I've been there, and that's why when I read books, I go to the end to see if it's a to be continued, and if it is, I don't even start it. Like
You have
I
to.
will admit, the only thing that I am is the Delgado series because she's dropping them super fast. But outside of that, and I still was mad. I finished Quasine yesterday and got to the end. I said, "Mother." And I knew it was a to be continued. Like it's not like I didn't know, but I read the book all slow to trying to scratch it out. Like, well, maybe if I read it, she'll drop the other book because she been doing good. Honey, I was so mad. I was like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that reader. That's like, so what you doing?
I
You
got
gonna
all
drop
people.
this
I'm always
book?
I always got him like, yo, be like, yo, they be like, you be keeping me. I'm like, yeah, because you be telling me stuff. And they be like, you hold me accountable. I will hold you accountable because I am a real reader. I love everybody's work. Like, I support. You don't know, because I'll just be like, what you got going on? Like, because if you're somewhere and I'm there, I want to support. I tell people like, if you're in a book club, I don't know if you join the Whitney Escape book, but I tell people post your stuff. Like, this is a free platform
Mm-hmm.
for you to tell everybody. I'm gonna say it because they're gonna see that I'm a post. When I always post all the books that I read, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll see who's my favorites because I always try to read something from my favorites once a month. Um, unless I already read the whole series, like all their stuff. But I just want to tell you, I do appreciate you. I appreciate
Thank
you
you so
coming out
much.
here today, talking with me. This was so much freaking fun. And if I didn't read a book, that's y'all lost. Go back and read it. But
I
I do want,
appreciate you for having me.
girl, I had to. I was like, yo, she is different. Because like you said, some people in the same genre, but
Mm-hmm.
you just took stuff,
I bounce all around.
but they're all still connected.
And yeah, and honestly, I'm telling you, I didn't see it then, but everything was God ordained. Everything was God designed because it's like why would I become an author, tag it to my father, then lean on my mental health as my brand, which is bipolar. We all know what people think about bipolarism, like it's just all over the place, and then literally be an author who is all over the place and that be
Mhm.
accepted. So I said, well, everything was supposed to go how it's supposed to go. And I'm one of the people I can say in the industry that can do that. Like a lot of you, look, I promise you, I can write an erotica today, romance, then I'm back on these wolves. And then I'm jumping right back to something like the other day I got a story idea. I told my doctor, I think I'm gonna write a story because I just found out the other day a reader just informed me that I'm a disability author. Like I write, I was like, I didn't realize that, but she's like, yeah, like you really do be writing about disabilities that people don't write about in certain lights. And I was like, oh, okay. So the other day I was like, I guess she right because an idea popped in my head. I said, that's gonna be interesting. I said, oh, I'm gonna try to tackle that. And I was like, I know everybody gonna be like, what was she thinking when she did
Right?
this?
You know who did that? And it drove me crazy. Monica Waters. I love her. She used me as a character, and She put my business, and she had my business as part of my thing, which was so cool.
Ooh, she used me as a
But
character in one of her books too. My real name, Thais.
I love her. But you know what's cool when she did the series with God, please don't the bipolar
Mm-hmm.
and I told her, I said, girl, I have a headache. She said, wait, you read that like in a week and it took me years to write it. But I didn't realize the depth of bipolar
Yeah.
and schizophrenia. She goes, these are real people in my life that I know that I really do. She goes, this is a real story that I make fiction. But I told her, because she did that, you enlightened so many people about
Mm-hmm.
this disorder that we don't really know about. And then I had another author who's been like sexually, she came on and
Mm-hmm.
told her whole story. I was like, thank you, because at the end of the day, if no one talks about, we don't know anybody, we don't know. So lack of knowledge. So using your, even when you have Thais, her name Thais?
Thais. Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at God. See, I remember characters. I
Mm-hmm.
remember stuff. See, y'all be hating on me. I've been praying about that. I said, God, please help me to remember people's names, because I could remember your story and forget your name, but I could tell you
Mm-hmm.
everything about you and then not tell you your freaking name. But when she was going through dementia all the time, saying all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff, I was just like, yo, I love that, because ever since I watched that movie, Still Alice, I told
Mm-hmm.
everybody they need to watch that movie, because they don't put enough awareness on dementia and Alzheimer's and that disease.
Right.
That you can have that in your freaking 30s and not remember what you like or your bathroom, and people, and you don't even know what's going on with you.
And I touched on dementia if you're in the Washington Smith, because Tay ends up having early onset dementia.
Yes.
And the book that I wrote, it's coming out in February. I touch more on it. And I don't even touch as deeply as I want to touch on it, because it's still so my brother's a geneticist, and he did a study on Alzheimer's and trying to, not necessarily trying to cure Alzheimer's. So he's in a lot of medical journals and stuff, and he's the person in the lab with the coat with the rats doing different combinations to try to see what works on what. And I remember thinking like, wow, like maybe, because in that book, I use like his study as something she went through as a trial. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, there's a lot of things that, and I don't like sometimes the way we depict things. Like, I got tired of seeing bipolar people in urban fiction look like we the crazy people that murder everybody. Like, that's not the case. I ain't never done it. Not gonna say I don't want to, but I ain't never done it. Like, and that's when I wrote Mania of Love. Like, some of the episodes that she had in that book, they were my episodes. In the book where she's talking about the egg cups, buying all the egg cups. Literally, when I was writing the book, I was in a mania, and I had 40 egg cups in my refrigerator. I went through this Oscar Mayer egg cup. I needed an egg cup every day. And then I'll drop, like, my daughter be like, because I go in food phases, I'll be like, I think I want salmon today. And then for the next 30 days and 40 nights, we eating salmon. And she be like,
But people need to know all the aspects, and then
mm-hmm.
especially for like, people who read and stuff like that. Like, we read urban fiction or whatever, but a lot of it is still real and real people's story. And
Right.
just because you touch on it, I'm like, oh, let me look that up. Like, sometimes even some terminology, I'm like, what is that? Like, even when you did cancer, I'm like, what? I'm like, I know that's not what I think. I'll Google. I was like, oh, it is what I think it is. You know what I'm saying? So it still gets people to. Then I started looking at the history. Once it's on my screen, I'm reading what it's talking about, so I could really understand the characters. Or when you put like different, even when you talk about like different Native Americans, I said, let me look at these tribes, because at the end of the day, if you're reading something, you're into it. So I will encourage you to use all your life experiences, bipolar, whatever, because I'm telling
And
you.
you're actually, what you're saying, that you're the reason why, as an author, when I write certain things, I do the research. Like, some authors just write, and nothing to them. They write and they just kind of make it up as they go along. No. If I'm gonna write about the Lumbee tribe, I had all their stuff pulled up. I need to know where they at, what this is. When I write about certain cancers, I'm Googling, like, well, how do we do this? Okay, what is it about? Are this a cure? What kind of medications do you take for it? So, like, them medications don't be fly by night. I just pick some off the sky. Oh no, I did my research, because there are readers like you who will Google it and be like, oh, I'm kind of interested. Oh wow.
Because I want to make sure I'm understanding the content. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading it, but I'm like, what is she trying to tell me? Because then if I miss it, I don't know where, like, I could finish the story, but I could miss a huge part that made the story something else.
Right.
So I
Right.
got to see what she's talking about so I can experience it.
And it makes it good. My HIV awareness book, I got all of that, the data in that book, and I got that. One of my readers asked me to write that book. She was HIV positive, and she said, I'm tired of being a pariah in urban fiction. I said, well, let me write you a love story. She happened to be here in Charlotte. Her doctor's here in Charlotte. I said, well, do you mind if I, like, can I talk to your doctor? And he made an hour appointment and he told me everything I need to know, asked them everything. So that's the information that went in that book, what I learned from him directly. And I learned more about HIV in that 1 hour than I knew all of my life. And I was like, wow. So from there, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna teach you something. I'm gonna teach you something today. So
That's why God put you in this place, because you're hitting so many people. Even this book, spirituality, tribes, like you said, business, disability, mental health. Like, I enjoy all your books because I, like you said, I never know where I'm going, but every time I end it, I like where I went. So I appreciate you very much so, and I want you to take this time to tell all the readers like where they can follow you, what you got coming up next, if you're gonna be at any book events, how they can support. Put it out there, girl.
So you can follow me. I'm author Mel Dau all across everything. IG, Mel Dau Publication on Facebook. As long as TikTok, author Mel Dau there. I think I joined fan base. I don't understand it just quite yet, but I'm there. Is on Facebook I have Mel Dau's Mania Crew. That's my group. That's a good place to be because I do a lot of stuff in there, as well as my mailing list. All of that is on. If you go to any of my social media pages, I have a link tree with all of my email subscribers list. And I really, really encourage people to subscribe to my email list. I just did a big book sale, a paperback sale, and like I advertised it, but I didn't advertise the percentage for the email subscribers. That was a surprise to them. So I do a lot of that with my email subscribers. I am going to be this year in March. I'm going to be at the 4Bs, which is Blings, Books, Boots, and Bowls, in Monica Walters' event in Mesquite, Texas. I am going to be at the Gem Awards in Atlanta in July, and then I am going to be at the Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses in Columbia, South Carolina. So those are my 3 events for
Oh,
2025.
I wanted to see. I'm mad at Monica. She already knows. I want to go to. She talked to me 2 years about doing this book thing together. Like I do travel, so we were talking. I'm like, you gotta do this. You gotta do this. And I was like, Monica, I'm gonna buy my tickets, but wait till after my daughter's competition because cheer and football it takes all my money. I'm like, I can't be booking all these things knowing that this is a huge expense, right? Talked to her literally that same week. I'm like, yo, after if she wins or don't win, I don't know exactly how I could like move my money. All right, wait. The day of the competition, that night, oh, sold out. I said, Monica, I know you didn't just post that you sold out. And she's like, and you know how you put that face? I was like, Did she start putting tears? I said, no, you did me dirty, Monica. You did me dirty. You knew I was going to buy my ticket.
It sold out fast. It sold out.
She did, but the only thing I told her, I said, the only reason because I know, like, my kids do a lot. And that's when cheer competition cost me.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you. Look, my daughter cheered for like a little locally, and I was like, I don't know how these parents do this competition stuff.
Girl, oh my God. So I'm just like, I was so mad because I was like, ooh, and I'm with my girlfriend, everybody was coming. So I was like, yo, let's wait because I don't know how to allocate my money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm extra. Everybody know I'm extra. But I want to know how extra I can be. So I was like, let me just see because
I understand.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I want to make sure that she's straight. So we got could they go to Disney? They got to pay for all this different type of stuff. So I knew like, okay, this is how much money I got to spend for this when they give you all this. So then my extra money, boom, flights. But I couldn't be like, let me buy flights, hotel, book all this stuff, not knowing how much money I'm about to spend over here. Because I don't like
that makes sense.
Girl, I was so mad. I was like, Monica. She was like, "What? I'm so sorry." I was like, "You hurt my feelings." I was like, because. But then I also said, my God, everything happens in a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Because after that happened, my son got accepted to a private high school, and I had to drop money. I'm so proud of him.
Right.
But for him to just accept his seat and all that, I had to put this money. I was like, well, maybe God was saying you ain't going because you need that money.
Yeah, I had something else for you, but I got you in the back end.
You see what I'm saying? And I was like, everybody knew I was, even my girlfriend, was like, they knew I was, my husband, everybody knew I was so
good. No, but when she pop it off again next year, you might be out here all grandiose with it. Like, oh, I'm here and I'm making up.
Exactly. Because even other people, like, you coming here, like, Matt Austin's like, you're not coming with? I'm like, don't remind me about this, okay? Because it's a sore spot in my heart. But I'm like, God did that purposely because he knew, I didn't know, that my son was going to get accepted to this. Like, I knew because that's my baby. I always have faith in him and God.
Mm-hmm.
But when this is your first time going through these things, I didn't know
it's gonna play
he's
out.
not going to high school until August. But I didn't know how to drop this money now. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't been in that situation before.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, God. So everything happened like you said. I just, even though my feelings are still hurt, but I did say I'm gonna try to do the Kimberly Brown one, and
I did it last year. It was amazing. It was amazing. I did it last year.
I wanted to go last year. The problem, football and cheer is what kills me all the time.
And that's right around that time. I
know. So I always like try to wait because I'm like, that's hardest for me because my daughter's in competition cheer, and then my son's gonna be in high school football. So that's a whole different ballgame. But I love Kimberly Brown. Like, I love her.
She's amazing. She is so amazing.
I want and I'm like, I haven't met her in person. We talk she came on here. We do all these things. So I like to meet all my people. Like, I go to Behind the Pin in New York because it's close. They do it every 3 years. So I go there, and I love going. But I went to the one in New Orleans with ND. So I try to go somewhere every year. But I'm like, sometimes it's just with the transition and trusting God because I'm.
Oh, and you know what? I'm sorry. I'm doing. Is that in May? I think in May I'm doing the Boozy Book Tour in Raleigh too. So it's 4.
All right, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna DM you. I don't know if I'm gonna get mailing this, but put it in our the thing so I can sign up. So I can do the mailing list and all that stuff. But girl, I had so much fun talking to you. I went over my time, but you stayed on here, so I'm happy. This was so much fun. I will slide in your DMs after I finish reading the whole thing to tell you my opinion. To be like, oh my God, this happened today. But I did appreciate you, and like I said, anything you're doing, support, or be like, hey, wait, can you post this? Like, even if you show me something that you want people to support, send it to me, inbox it me, and I'll put it up. So even if you don't do it, I'll do it to support you. Like I said, we're doing 2025, and I want to support all my authors. You guys know where to follow her. You already know who this is, Whitney from Whitney Escapes. You can follow me, everything at Whitney's Escapes. But this year is a year of growth. Let's support one another, guys, and let's be consistent in what we're doing. But Mel Dau, like daughter, I actually love you, and I'll be reading everything.
Thank you so much.
And please, send me the things so I can be on your mailing list. But guys, please support her. Her work is phenomenal. And y'all know I keep it real on here. I don't have to pick the fun. I only reach out to people who I feel are authentic, who give us great things. Because there's so many people y'all give me, and I'm like, I don't know how this conversation will go. But when the books are great, we can continue to have these great conversations, guys. I love you guys all. And please keep on supporting. I will be updating my website as well. I have some stuff coming up, but Chick is busy. So please give me grace and pray for my strength in the Lord. This is 2025. Love you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Bye.
Do you work too much? Constantly on the go? Miss hanging out with friends, family, or even yourself? Do you ever feel like you need an escape? Whitney's Escapes is here to help with just that. We specialize in family travel, autism travel, group trips, vacations, staycations, and more. So when you're ready for your next escape, make sure you contact us at whitneysescapes.com. Follow us on social media at Whitney's Escapes as well. Whitney's Escapes, where your dreams become your reality.